Thanks for joining us for the May edition of the Lee Schools TV podcast. I'm Rob Spicker and your host for our conversation. Today we're going to meet three of our outstanding high school seniors. Each one of these students has the highest grade point average in their attendance zone. One, and it's amazing 6.5 GPA. Another has earned the largest scholarship in district history, and another is considered one of the best student club presidents in the state of Florida. So to get us started with these amazing students, I first want to introduce you to Ivan Yu. He's a senior at Fort Myers High School, and I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for coming in. You are the student with that 6.58 grade point average after 7 semesters, so there's still work to be done. It's going to go higher. 3/10 off the best GPA we've seen on record at that point. So you're among the best of the students in Lee County. How did you do that, such a high GPA?
I think it took a lot of dedication, but at my school we had the IB program, so that was definitely a big major contribution to the GPA. But I took AP classes, dual enrollment classes, and those were all big factors that really helped me. And I think that having time commitment and being committed to, having like a set vision in the future, and that really helps.
You just mentioned that, IB, AP, dual enrollment. So really, of the three top avenues for rigorous curriculum that you could take, you were a part of. Why that path? Did you prefer one over the other?
I took all three just to try all three, but I think I really liked AP a lot. It was really flexible and individualized. With the IB, you had 7 courses, and you have to choose like one per subject area. But with AP, you can choose like your own individual courses. I also did part-time dual enrollment to like explore coursework beyond what IB and AP offered. So like anatomy and physiology, diet and nutrition and stuff like that.
It's got to be, those extra credits probably really help that GPA too.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing really well. So you want to go to Brown after you graduate, so you'll be off there in the fall. What are you going to study? What's the plan? What do you think that leads to? What's your plan?
So I think at Brown, I want to study neuroscience and public health, hopefully have a career in medicine one day, probably attend medical school and become a practicing physician. I want to explore more about like allopathic medicine and things of that nature. And yeah, I'll just see where it takes me.
What got you interested in that?
I really liked biology when I was little, but in IB Bio, my teacher, I really liked him a lot. He was a really great teacher, Mr. Tripkowski, but he made bio fun and it was really enjoyable. So
in high school, you were part of DECA. That helps grow emerging leaders. You were part of HOSA, which supports students interested in the health professions. How do you think those clubs helped you get ready to graduate the way you are and position you for college?
Yeah, so I was a part of like 3 major CTE organizations, DECA, HOSA, Youth in Government. That's like a government-related program. But I think those organizations really allowed me to explore different fields of interest and, helped me create a future or like explore my interests so I knew what future I wanted. DECA is like a business organization, HOSA is a medical organization, and Youth in Government is obviously like public policy and government.
So it kind of combined everything you were interested in.
Yeah.
So maybe you know this, maybe you don't. There were two or three students right behind you in the GPA, and a couple that were over 6, and a couple who just missed a 6.0 by 1/10 of a point. So was that a competition among you, or is your success self-motivated?
I think at my school we have the IB, so again, I think it was a lot of students helping each other, and I think it was a really collaborative environment. There was obviously like competition, but I think everyone in IB was dedicated to succeeding, so it was really helpful being a part of a group that really wanted to succeed.
So you were just pushing each other?
Basically.
Maybe not competing, but pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Is there something from high school that stands out to you? What do you remember the most as a student here in Lee County?
Yeah, so I was a part of one organization, again, YIG, but there was this one opportunity I had as a youth advocate. I was able to go to Washington, D.C. and actually advocate on behalf of legislatures and Congress people. And that opportunity to speak about issues that I faced and issues that many others faced, that was really important to me and really special. I found that really meaningful because I could voice and express my views on the world.
So as you get ready to graduate, any advice for the students behind you just on studying, being successful, and preparing for the future?
Really just to keep an open mind. I feel like, again, when I started high school, I joined DECA, Youth in Government, and HOSA. So being flexible and adaptable to your career path and be willing to like try new things and participate in new clubs, new experiences, and new events. And I think that's really important.
Okay. Well, Ivan, thanks so much for coming in. Congratulations on your success. Best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
Now let's welcome in our second top senior from the West Zone, Katrina Placencia from North Fort Myers High School. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on such great success at this point in high school. You're about to graduate. So how does that feel?
It's exciting. It's very mixed emotions. You know, I'm excited to start my new journey in college, but also it's ending this chapter of high school. It's like I have a lot of like personal growth. This is where I met amazing like my teachers and where I finally branched out and got to meet so many of my new friends. So it's definitely mixed emotions, but more excited.
Did you settle on Florida State or are you going somewhere else? Or do you know?
Okay, so I am most likely going to Florida State. I just got accepted to UF as a transfer student, but FSU seems like it has more resources for me for what I plan to be in the future, and I'm currently waitlisted at Vanderbilt, so we'll see how long that takes, but most likely it's going to be Florida State.
Okay. And the major, what do you want to study?
Exercise physiology.
Okay. What is that exactly?
So it really focuses on like anatomy and physiology, and the reason why I chose that, because I do want to go into the medical field, the reason why I chose that instead of biology is because I took a DE class for anatomy and physiology, and through my personal experience, because I had knee surgery, I was really fascinated about how everything's like interconnected with one of each other. So to study that further is something I really want to do.
So is that connection, that personal issue really that drove you to that? Interesting. So you earned a Cambridge diploma. You're graduating with an associate's degree from a dual enrollment from FSW. So why did you pick that path? Each student kind of goes their own way. Why for those two for you?
Yeah, so my sister's a doctor, so I've seen the lengthy process it takes to, and the effort it takes to become a doctor. So I took note of that, and when I heard of the dual enrollment program, I jumped into it as soon as possible. If I could take any time off of that lengthy process, I was willing to do it. And it was a great opportunity to take college classes for free, especially in my high school, especially when college is very expensive nowadays. But even just taking the prereqs and stuff like that, I was willing to do that. Especially, I felt like it was the best path to go into college without feeling like a huge jump. I felt like it would be like a comfortable, like, path to go in. Yeah.
An easier transition.
Yeah, an easier transition.
Well, as the parent of two students who graduated with IB diplomas, they almost felt that high school was harder than the University of Florida. So you made a good choice there. You grew up, you played soccer, you ran some cross country in high school. Do you think the sports helped you just to be a little more diverse and have other interests?
I would say for sure. I would say starting soccer at the age of 5 and competitive at 7, it definitely brought out like the competitiveness in me. So that kind of correlated to my academics of like keep going, to not quit, and to do the best I can in any subject, even if it's my worst subject. And I would say also sports really brought out like learning from a team, because it is a team sport. So being able to understand other strengths kind of also helps in the classroom of like group projects or anything like that. So learning that.
You were involved with some clubs too, so that's good to keep you involved. National Honor Society, Key Club. You were recognized as one of the top 5 club presidents, Key Club presidents in Florida. Tell me about that.
So just a couple of weeks ago, I attended the statewide convention for Key Club, and that's where I was awarded the G. Harold Martin Outstanding Club President Award. So that's given to the top 5 presidents, Key Club presidents in the Florida district. So not only Florida, but also the Cayman Islands and Turks and Caicos. And it's such an honor. Sometimes I'm very speechless that I got it, but I just reflect back to my freshman year self as a member in Key Club and to myself now. Like, I never thought that I would have this much confidence to even run for a position. So to see my growth there is like, it's just amazing that I was able to get out of my bubble. And I knew I couldn't do this alone. It was a lot of my officer board helped me a lot trying to plan out service projects that will really make an impact within our community within the time we had. And also my sponsor in Kiwanis, so Kiwanis of Cape Coral, they helped a lot because they actually helped fund my trip to go to the statewide convention last year, which was my first time, and being able to meet so many people like across the state who is also like-minded as me really inspired me, and they taught me with the workshop and stuff like that to be the best leader I can possibly be.
Yeah, you mentioned Cape Coral Kiwanis. They've given you a large scholarship, one of the
Yes.
largest in the areas. The Red Sox, you won
Yes.
that scholarship as well, another one of the larger ones in this area. How does that help you prepare for school and go to school? And what was it like just to be recognized by those organizations?
Yeah, it was awesome. So the Red Sox scholarship, we had that. We were presented right before the Red Sox game, so we got to walk out and we got to meet their mascot. I'm not really a baseball fan, so I don't really know who the mascot is, but it was really a great experience. And it's kind of crazy just because the Red Sox is a really big foundation, and also with getting the scholarship from my own sponsor in Kiwanis, I feel like I'm getting recognized, and I feel very honored because I feel like I'm also representing them in the best way too. And college, again, is very expensive, so being able to kind of just focus on my academics when going to college instead of worrying about the financial would be very helpful.
So overall, your high school experience, can you describe it? What do you think was the best thing about your last 4 years?
I would say, I know I keep talking about Key Club, but I would say Key Club. Key Club, again, is the largest student-led organization that really focuses on giving back to the community. So I would say that, and having the opportunity to go into ICON, which is the international conference for Key Club. I got to meet so many people across the state, and because of that, I worked hard for my position for this to be president, and I kind of, made my friends join Key Club, and because I felt like I had such a powerful, they made such a powerful impact on my life, so I wanted to bring that to them. And they also, this was their first year to go to the statewide convention, and they loved it. They wish they would have joined sooner. And I would say that because I got to meet so many people that share the same interests that I do, and now they're all going off to great other schools, and just being able to network with them is also a great thing.
Well, Katrina, congratulations. Appreciate you joining us. Thanks for coming in, and good luck as you head off to school in the fall.
Thank you.
Our third top senior comes to us from Gateway High School in the East Zone. Simpson Lynn is the recipient of the single largest scholarship in school district history. So I want to thank you for joining us. $389,000. You're wearing the colors to go to Duke. Tell us about this scholarship.
Yeah, so the scholarship is done through the Questbridge Foundation, so shout outs to them. What they do is they split up their application process into 3 different major stages. We call it selections. You have the first selection that happens in your junior year. Usually it opens in February, and we call that the CPS, or College Prep Scholars. You basically just fill out this application that's almost like a college application with essays, demographics, and everything, and you send that in. And during the April of your junior year is when it gets announced whether or not you win. And if you do, you get moved on into the next stage, which is the National College Match Finalist stage. This is where you, again, read through your application, and then you send it back in. And this will happen at the start of your senior year. And if you win that, then you get named the National College Match Finalist. And here is where you get to rank, the 15 different school partners. And then you resend your application to them. And if you win, you get an automatic full-ride scholarship to any of the schools that accepted you.
Pretty cool. Tuition, room and board, and even some travel included. So it really takes care of everything that you'd have to worry about.
It does take care of everything. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, congratulations. And you're the first in your family to go to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your parents have to be proud. What do you think about that distinction for you and your family?
Well, my parents at first, they were a little bit iffy because they weren't sure if it's what I actually wanted to do. But after some convincing, I was able to convince them hey, Duke is actually a pretty good school. Because as immigrant parents, they don't really know about the entire education system and which schools are good or not. They just go based off of what they've heard or what they've been told. So it was really nice to finally get their acknowledgement after they figured out that, okay, maybe this is actually a blessing to
Yeah,
Nome.
Duke's a
after
pretty
all.
good place.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, it was a dream school.
Yeah, for
That's
me,
where
it
you've
was a
always
dream
wanted to
school.
go.
Right, since I was little, and
Tell us the story. I mean, what inspired you to go there?
yeah, so it happened a while ago. I actually never realized it until like a couple of years ago. But my mom and my grandma, when they first came to America, they actually visited Duke's campus up in North Carolina, and I remember seeing pictures in my mom's. I think at the time it was like an iPhone 6. Seeing it, and I was like, oh wow, this is like a really cool place. They took pictures at inside and outside the main chapel, and they took picture in the Duke Gardens. And I remember asking them where that place was, and they told me that it was Duke. At that time I was like 5, 6, 7, so I had no idea what that place was. But fast forward a couple of years later, during the start of my high school, or the middle part, I figured out that it was like one of the nation's top universities. And ever since then I was like, okay, it'd be pretty cool if I ended up going here. It kind of like just goes circle around. That was the first place my parents visited when they came to America, and now it'll be the start of my own journey as I leave Florida, where I've grown up, to go out to the world and do my own thing.
Well, cool. Full circle story. You're going to major in biology, psychology, medical sociology. To me, one of those is enough. So why all three?
Well, I've always been a pretty greedy person. I don't really just like to like settle or have to choose between things. So I usually just say, well, if I have to choose between all the things I want, I might as well just take all of it. I rather like live with the stress of preparing for classes and taking all these different majors and have to deal with the regret of not having been able to go out there and actually do what I wanted to do. So I've just taken 3 of the topics that I found the most interest in, and I just combine them into one, and hopefully I can make something out of it. My like dream is to be a psychiatrist, but I also want to do like studies and experiments and hopefully open up my own business one day. But I was also looking into biotech because I also think that's pretty cool.
So you're not done figuring it out.
Yeah, I'm not done figuring it out yet.
So whatever is next is still really to be determined.
Right.
But you got that path. Can you do all those majors in 4 years, or is it going to take more than that?
With some dedication, I think I could. And I think it's possible because they offered it, and you don't have to do like 3 majors. You could do majors, certifications, and then minors. So maybe through that it'd be possible.
Gotcha. So you did your Cambridge diploma in 2 years, talking about, taking advantage of everything available to you. Then you part of the Gateway Collegiate Academy. So you've been a dual enrolled student at FGCU. What was this experience like for you? This is how you got ready, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like I said before, I'm a pretty greedy person, so I wanted to do everything at once, but I couldn't because for dual enrollment at FGCU, you have to be a junior. So I figured, and I was like, okay, so I have 4 years in my high school life. Why don't I just split it into 2 years of high school and 2 years of college? And then it worked out fine because I managed to finish my ACE diploma in the first 2 years, and I went off to dual enrollment the start of my junior year. I still come back from the medical academy, but for me, dual enrollment was like a really great place to be. I've always been someone who enjoys the experiences and like going out and seeing the world for myself. So seeing such a beautiful campus that's located so close was like an eye-opening experience for me because I never knew that it was there until before. And overall, it did help me prepare really well. In my opinion, dual enrollment classes are still really challenging, and it gets you an authentic experience because the professors don't know that you're dual enrolled. The students don't know that you're dual enrolled. So really nobody knows you're dual enrolled until you tell them. So with that, I was able to get like the authentic raw experience of like a college journey or the start of it. And that was something I found very valuable. And I was able to make a lot of new friends and meet a lot of new people.
You were part of HOSA too. We've mentioned that club already. And you think that program and some of the teachers that really helped you be successful. Why is that?
Yeah. HOSA is a part of the medical academy at Gateway High School. And as I'll be graduating soon, but as the president for HOSA for last year and this year, I can say that it's one of the best clubs that I've ever joined just because of the teachers that were involved and the students. I remember with the medical academy, there are like 3 different teachers that really made an impact on me. You have Mrs. Stoltz. She's not teaching anymore, I believe, but she was really helpful. She was one of the first teachers I felt like a genuine passion for teaching in, and she would do her best to make everything right for us. And then you have Miss Leach, our current sponsor for HOSA, and she has helped me in multiple ways. She wrote my letters of rec for National College Management. Not only that, she's always been there for me and supported me throughout my journey. And I remember she would always hype me up before tests, hype me up for the application process, and just do everything she could to make sure like I was feeling confident for everything. And you have the most recent instructor, Miss Davis. She's super authentic and she's straightforward, and without her, I don't think I would have been able to pass my EKG certification exam. So thank you, Ms. Davis.
From what I understand, you've got a younger brother who's promising to outdo you. So is that kind of pressure motivate you, or is it all internal as you've sort of talked about?
For my brother, not really. I don't see him as a threat. I'm sorry, Vincent, but I don't really see him as a threat to me at least. But competition has always been a big driving force. You can ask like any of my friends or anybody that knows me. I'm a super competitive guy, and like it brings me like sometimes it brings me, it's not healthy, but it brings me like physical discomfort when I know that someone's doing better than me, or like someone I'm close with is like above me in ranks or scores or whatever. So yeah, competition has always been a super big drive for me. My parents have always told me that if I'm gonna use the energy and time to do something, then I might also be like the best I can at it. So that's always what I've tried to go for in a sense, and I'm really glad because it took me to where I am right now.
Well, here you are. Thanks for joining us.
No
Congratulations on your success. Good luck at Duke when you
Thank
head out
you.
there in the fall. Appreciate it to all of our top seniors for joining us today. Again, congratulations to them all. We wish them the best. And we're going to come back at the beginning of the school year with our next edition of Lee Schools TV and get you ready for the upcoming year in August. See you then.